Hey Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast.
We're high-performance coaches that help service-based professionals and entrepreneurs take their skills to the next level.
70% of entrepreneurs fail, which is why every week we have real talk with real entrepreneurs to help ensure you are not one of them.
We're also the inventors of the Be Rich mindset,
where we rise to mastery,
inspire greatness,
celebrate knowledge,
and help others along the way.
So join us in the lab.
And now, on to the show.
Welcome back to the lab, Rockstars. I'm JB.
I'm the doctor.
For those of you joining us again, thank you so much for being a part of our growing podcast. And if you're new to listening, thanks for joining us. I think you're going to have a lot of fun today.
Probably. I know I'm already having fun.
Yeah, I can just see it on your face. Hey, everybody, we believe in a vision. We actually believe that we can revolutionize business today. And we believe that anyone in business, interested in business, or is a service-based professional should have the tools, resources, the wisdom, and insight all in one place to be successful. And that's what we created the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab for. And it's not just this podcast. We have a free private community on Facebook that we'd love to have you join. So if you're a member already, thank you for your support and engagement and sharing in that vision with us. And if you haven't checked it out yet, highly encourage you to go take a look at what we consider one of the best platforms to get free content around the key drivers of success and be introduced and rubbing shoulders with the very best of the best out there today.
All the cool people are doing it.
That's right. So without further ado, Doc, we've got a really special guest with us. I'm super excited to announce that we have Amy Rasquin with BFit Health and Wellness, who just happens to also be quite an old friend of yours, I understand.
I've known her a little while.
A couple days or two from what I've heard.
At least since last week.
I had the pleasure of hearing some stories before we kicked off recording that I will share when I want to embarrass the doctor further. You'll have to wait for that, folks. So Amy here with BFit Health and Wellness is really specialized, which I absolutely love, Amy, by the way. She works with women who are beyond done with dieting. She helps them transform their relationship with food so they can feel their best inside and out without ever following another restrictive diet again. I feel like that mission statement may be the dream of every woman I've ever spoken to. So it's interesting, Amy, you've got a background, 20 years, you were in physical therapy, you went back to school, you focused on health and wellness, you opened up your practice a year ago now, maybe a little over a year ago. I want to say, first of all, thank you for joining us, but wow, starting your own practice, that's a big step. What kind of brought you to that point?
Hello there. Thank you so much for the introduction. What brought me there was really wanting to have my independence and be my own boss. I was already starting to be my own boss because with physical therapy, I was doing home health. But the clocking in, the clocking out, and feeling like, I'm on this working roller coaster and I want to get on my own, do my own thing, and find something I'm even more passionate about, even though I have so much passion for physical therapy and I enjoyed the ride. I was just ready for that next chapter.
We talk about passion all the time as a big driver. I mean, maybe one of the most important drivers of success as an entrepreneur comes down to passion. And we even talk about, how do we find it? How do we identify where it is? So I love that you found your passion. What specifically about health and wellness, and especially with helping women, what spoke to you there? Why that?
Really, it's, when we're in that day to day and we're going through our routines of the have tos and, but like I said, the clocking in and clocking out, we can get into this slump of like low fatigue and low energy and just getting more in tune with what gives us energy and what has us feel good. I think so much of behind what I do is helping women to find the diet that they create that works for them, that's going to have them be their best, feel their best, have the highest energy, and not not be looking for that sugary something to lift them up, get them through the day, and then crash again, and just getting them off that vicious cycle.
Are you saying you bottle energy for people?
I help them create their own bottle of energy.
Sign me up. That sounds
no more.
Oh, come on, man. You could just another espresso. We just had a live training recently, and the business owner made the incredible decision to offer me espresso right before we started, as if I didn't have caffeine in my system already, as if I wasn't already the super energetic, high energy guy that doesn't shut up. You should have looked at Doc's face. It was pure terror.
Future business people, do not do that with us, please.
Like the hands started trembling, shaking, like.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
yes, mine did, because I was very nervous on what was going to happen.
All right. We hear all the time, Amy, this is just it kind of has to be asked, right? We hear all the time, diets, they're super easy to start, and, they'll last all of 30, 60 or 90 days. And then it's over. It's like everybody says, 30 days for a habit or whatever. And yet with diets, it's like, well, you could be doing it for 90 days. You're still going to fail and it's not going to work. What's going on? And what do you kind of do different to address that? Because I mean, that's got to be a sticking point for you in your business with the people you're helping.
Absolutely. When you look back in time, you can start to really laugh at the diets. When I was, 12? I don't remember. When the cabbage soup diet came out, like that was the first diet as a kid, like I recall, oh yeah, I'm going to lose 10 pounds when I get on this cabbage soup. But the thing is now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, why are we still believing that next trendy diet is going to be the answer and this quick fix? So it's a matter of developing habits around the foods that you want to eat, that foods that have you feel good, and establishing the relationship between what you're eating so that you're fueling your body and you're feeling good. And the more we eat the junk, the more our body will crave the junk, and trying to break that sugar, but in a slow way where it can be a lasting change. And that's the tricky part, because our society wants fast. We want super speed results. But the fact of the matter is, to break that cycle of all those diets, all those Special K and keto and Atkins and fat-free this and fat-free that, it's really establishing what foods feel good to someone and having that be the diet they created for themselves, and having this be a sustainable lifestyle.
Hearing one of our favorite words in there, that not one size fits all.
One size doesn't fit all. And we also talk a whole lot about small changes, baby steps, big impact. A little difference in choice makes a huge vector change. We compare that to, taking off in an airport. You're planning on heading to San Francisco. You're off by 1 degree, you end up in like Portland or something, hundreds of miles away with a 1 degree change early on. So, it's so true, Amy, this idea that we all want everything to be instantaneous and fast. And yet that is not how life works. And it's an easy thing to promise, but there's a reason why people fail at these things, because they try to just do everything all at once instead of just making small changes. And I especially appreciate what you said there about, you spoke about sugar, and hey, the more of this junk that we have, the more we crave it. And man, that is so true about anything not healthy for us, right? You get like a taste of it. It's like, oh yeah, give me more of that. That's where bad habits can, I guess, start. Absolutely.
Yeah, it does. And it's like more of it. And then we see the commercial for it, and then we're reminded about it just when we're starting to forget about it, right?
That's the interesting thing about our brain is sugar itself highlights different levels of our brain and activates serotonin and dopamine to kind of give you that pleasure. So of course it wants more of it because it likes that feeling. And then we attach whatever we had to that feeling. So if it was something that, like a Skittles, I hate mentioning things because that's one less person that's going to sponsor our podcast every time I do that. Skittles, I still love you. Feel free to give us money. But if it's something like that, it does, you start to identify that item with that pleasure. And so it gets that double whammy of not only the serotonin and dopamine increasing, it also, that imagery that's attached to that now is a good reminder.
Yes, and it's always going for what's most pleasurable. So when I dive into that with my clients, and the mindful eating part is like, it's not just what we eat, but it's how we eat and who we're being when we eat. And when I say that, there might be a relationship between, I'll feel better if I eat those Skittles, so I'm going to eat a whole lot of Skittles, and getting a little bit deeper into that relationship and creating a new one.
That's very interesting to me. So it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat and who we're being when we eat. Can you kind of dig into that a little bit and just kind of share that more with our listeners, kind of what you mean by that? Because for those of you that can't see me, I've got kind of like this blank, dumb look on my face. I'm like, well, I never thought about that. It's always about what I eat. So.
Yes, exactly. That's where it's the raised awareness on how we eat. For example, people that suffer from indigestion, a lot of that has to do with how fast they're eating. And we have this fast-paced world, and we eat at warp speed, and we're doing everything at warp speed. And then I teach on what happens to the body when we do that, and how we're not doing our part to digest our food. So that's the how. And then the who is, I had a stressful day. How am I going to de-stress? With a bowl of pasta or an ice cold beer? Like, what's going to have me relax? And that's the connection there of who are you being? Are you really hungry, or are you trying to fix an emotion to feel a different way?
So Amy, you just spoke to me like personally, as I have a bowl of pasta sitting next to me. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the one that eats like at warp speed. It drives my wife crazy. She looks at me because I'm done before she's finished like her first 3 bites. And I'm sitting there going, are we still eating dinner here? I mean, but then I pay the price later. So, that you literally spoke to me. I totally get where you're coming from with it. That's very interesting. I find that very fascinating. And this is something that I've never really dug that much into. So anything with nutrition and with like the health and wellness side is probably a missing part of my comfort. So I love hearing from people like you.
I think one of the things I also heard too, and part of it, how it is interesting, the differences in people and having to figure that out. Right. And strengths in certain areas might be weaknesses in the same way in different areas. Like, I know if you put a plate of pasta in front of me, my self-restraint is probably going to be a lot lower than it was a few minutes ago when I had an easy chance to make fun of JB in his blank face. I held good restraint at that moment, but I would not have that same exact restraint in front of that bowl of pasta. So we can have very good strengths and weaknesses, and that makes it the challenge is because we think it's a strength of ours that we're put into a different situation. It also becomes a weakness or an area to improve. So that becomes a real challenge for people who think, well, I'm really good at this, I should be able to do that with no problem. And then they're faced with something that's a challenge that they thought they were going to be. And that brings on a whole different level of feeling and emotion that comes with that.
Yes. It's like once something is tackled, it's like, oh, okay, I got that. And then bam, it shows up totally different in another area of our lives. And then it's like, okay, there it is again. Now what's happening there, and looking a little deeper at it.
And that's where I can find working with someone like yourself is very useful for people, because they're not going to notice those things or be aware of their limitations in those worlds, especially if they have that thought, oh, I'm really good at this area. they might need that assistance to be pointing out that, okay, you're really good at that in this area, but in this area we need more focus. And that's where any kind of coaching comes in very valuable. We have, people that are very successful in any world still usually have a coach or a mentor to work with because they're great at pointing out those things. So the level that you bring is very important.
Thank you.
You may ask your question now, JB. Good restraint there, by the way.
I'm trying. This might be one of my blind spots that you so kindly point out to me all the time. So thank you, Doc. I'm really curious. We're talking a lot. I mean, so much of what you do is addressing behavior and modifying behavior, which is typically the doctor's expertise and something I try to leave the ball in his court on that one. But it's a large part of what we do is building out consistency and building out routines and processes so we get better. I'm always careful with the word habit because so often we have bad habits, which I think is why you have such a successful business model, is because so many of us are really consumed with these bad habits. In regards to getting the lasting results and really, seeing somebody do something and stick with it, that to me is the most difficult thing with any change of behavior. It's very easy for us to fall back into bad behavior. What kind of insight can you give us into that? What do you see working with people, and especially with something like this where food and stress and it magnifies. It's a really difficult concept and challenge for so many people. So any advice for our listeners out there, anything that you're just like, you can offer a little pearl of wisdom or something around that?
Yes, the lasting change is like the best part. And it's not that I'm promising that there'll never be a moment where you fall back to old habits or you fall off the wagon or get off track. But the new level of awareness that I teach people to have around it is the tool in their toolbox that they will have for the rest of their life. And bringing that back, there I go again, sleeping in and not working out. What's happening here? I'm falling back to that old pattern. They have the awareness and they have the structure and the system that we put in place on, okay, I know how to get back on track. And I know what worked. And as soon as that awareness is there, it's all in our mind. It's the power of our mind. It really is. It's the mindset and coming back to, there isn't more information that people need to know. It's not about learning more. It's really what I'm helping people do is go from like knowing what to do and actually doing it. And then being able to go back to what we did, what we put in place. And sure, if they want to reach out to me and do a couple sessions to get back on track, great. And maybe upgrade. Maybe there's also an upgrade because, when you think back to how you ate as a teenager, you're not eating like that. And if you are, maybe if that person wants to upgrade, I would love to help them do that.
Our brain is very valuable, but it's also an asshole. It doesn't have a delete key, right? So like a computer, you make a mistake, you delete, it goes away. Our brain does not allow us to do that. All we can do is overwrite a new behavior on top of it. And that's why a lot of people fail at these things or have to restart, is because that old behavior is so ingrained in them. They've done it for years. So as you're learning these new habits, these new skills that Amy's talking about, our brain doesn't delete the old ones. It just pushes them back. And the new ones come to the forward part of their mind. But the challenge is when you, over time, the old habits, those old memories, those old ways of doing things, they're still there and they try to sneak back in. And if we are not conscious and aware that they're trying to sneak back in, they take right back over because it's just what they're used to. It's what your brain's used to. And that's where those tools that Amy's talking about come in so valuable, is those are the things that help you keep pushing back those old behaviors and keeping the new ones front and center. Our brain, it doesn't know right or wrong. Our brain knows what we reward it with. And that is the challenge when it comes to these things. That's why people have such a hard time quit smoking and dieting. And a lot of those things, just our brain does not let us delete the things that we're trying to get rid of.
There's a couple things I heard from you, Amy. I want to double down on because we talk about them so much. Self-awareness, awareness in general, just being aware. You said it's so elegantly. I really liked it. We know, right? We know what to do. I mean, come on, we know this stuff, and it's so true. A lot of the struggles we deal with in life, we know what to do. We know what the answer is, and we just don't do it. And why don't we do it? And oftentimes it's because we don't have the support, or we don't have the structure, or we have kind of the road is paved for us to make the bad decisions, right? Based on what Doc was just saying, with things not ever getting deleted, right? It's easy to default back to what we were. So that awareness is super important. And the knowing what to do, it's simple. We deal with this all the time. When we talk to people about, sales, productivity, messaging, what not to do and what to do, a lot of times it's pretty simple. You want to achieve a certain result. We know what drives that result. Why aren't we doing it? And if we don't have that structure, what happens? And I've experienced this personally. We can all get better at this stuff. And I'll just share a little story. I did a marathon not too long ago, and I was within this great routine and super healthy going into the marathon. The marathon just wiped me. It just knocked me out. And it took me like 2 months to get back into my routine and my processes and little simple, easy things to do. Well, get up when I say I'm going to get up. To do what I'm going to do in the morning. Own my process, own my routines. But it's so easy to fall out of that. So do you work on going with people with the type of work you do? I guess what I want to ask you is, does it stop and you leave them with a support system, or are you an ongoing support system for people? Yeah. Whatever you found works best.
That is a good question. I do follow up with my clients after we've completed. So I have a 90-day program that I take them through. And then I offer them what I call is like a monthly retainer. Like rather than meeting weekly, we'll meet once a month if they want that continued support. And but really at the end of the 90-day program, they have everything they need. And as far as having the right support, the right system, and the right accountability with me, but then when they complete, that accountability, that can come from their best friend who is also wanting the same results, and she can fly, they can fly without me, but the opportunities there of some level of whatever we create on an ongoing basis.
I think I'm hearing Amy say also, and we've had some conversations around this, is the importance of having a good team around you, right? And having people, when we hear coaching, we think of it as like in a one world, like one thing that I go to a coach and they're going to do all these things. No, each one specify in their specific area of what their strengths are. And the big part of what we coach about is how to take your business, productivity, positioning, sales. Amy's is focused on nutrition, setting that mindset, setting those habit changes. She's not doing the personal training. She's not taking you to the gym and showing you how to do that. That might be the next referral that she can send out to. And that's a way that all of us as entrepreneurs can work together. And it's a little bit of a side what we're talking about, but I want to point it out because we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening and service professionals, that this is the way we work together and help each other help the people that we are working on. Because a big part of the Be Rich mindset is helping others along the way. And this is one of the greatest ways to do it in a professional sense too. Use your strengths and then set them up for success with someone else who might be a better fit for that next aspect or part that they're maybe missing. And I just think it's super important as we all have these conversations that we know we're not supposed to be the answer for everything. We're supposed to be the answer for that question. And then we get you to the people that can also help you in that other area.
Love that. Total journey. It's their personal journey and they're going down the different avenues and streets along the way.
It's all connected. It's all interlocked. It's the puzzle that we're putting together. Each piece is built into the piece around it. And I do love what you said there, Doc. I mean, it's not it's not just one person, being the end all be all. It's a foundation, and it's growth, and it's building. We start at the ground floor in the basement with the foundation, then we build up from there, and every floor is relying on the floor below it, and every floor strengthens the floor below it if it's done right. So just completely love that concept. It all stacks on top of each other. And James Clear talks about that, I think, with Atomic Habits, right? There's just that stacking concept. Hey, one good, habit in his mind will lead to another good habit, to another good habit. And, I don't really disagree. I think it's true in a lot of ways. I mean, with the stronger foundation we start with, the better off we are. And it does come down to mindset and changing the way we look and do some of the stuff. To what you said, bringing it full circle, Amy, it's not just the what you're eating, it's the how and who we are when we're eating. So if you can change that, you're really creating a much stronger, bigger foundation.
Exactly, yes. And really being in tune with the power of your choice. The best thing a client can say to me is, at work, they had this box of donuts in the break room and I didn't want it. And it's not depriving, and it's not beating themselves up, like really wanting it. It's really not wanting it, because they are now living and making choices that are in alignment to the goals that they have. And they'll feel better doing that than reaching for the donut.
It's very inspiring, which is also one of our Be Rich mindsets.
It is. And I that phrase, power of choice, I freaking love. I just love. I could just listen to the last 60, 90 seconds of this podcast and be really happy with what I heard from you, Amy, because it's so powerful. Power of choice. Gosh, I need once we record this, I need to listen to that again. I just, what you said really resonated. It really did. Stop talking directly to me. I'm getting uncomfortable now.
Awesome. I'm so happy.
Well, Amy, I'm sure we've motivated a lot of people to want to learn more, and they spend any time with you like I have. They know that you're the person they want to probably contact. What is it? I heard there was something special that you wanted to do for our audience. Is there something you can let us know about?
Yes, really, again, like it's not about more information. So rather than giving a PDF on what foods to eat and all of that, no, like time with me is the best gift that I could give. And to allow someone to ask whatever questions they have and whatever way I could help them have a breakthrough in whatever area around dieting and food that they want to have a breakthrough in, I'd be happy to do that. And I sent the link your way. So,
which will all be in the show notes. So check down below for a complimentary breakthrough session with Amy.
Amy, I found this to be fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to be able to say that we've been friends for as long as you and the doc have been friends here going forward. So really looking forward to it. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your insight. It was really helpful.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure having you here.
Doc, I could not have been more impressed with Amy and what she had to say at the end of our conversation there about the power of choice. Really, really strong way to end.
Yeah, it really brought a lot full circle of what we're talking about. And, someone who talks about behaviors quite a bit, it's great to see that it's being focused on in the worlds that it really needs to be focused on. I think behaviors for such a long time, behaviors, habits, routines, whatever you like to use as your adjective, around that is so important that it just gets highlighted. And, Amy did a great job at the end there, really highlighting that for us.
Yeah. When we make changes, you try to make these large breaks, and if you're going in one direction, and you're trying to make a turn, if you're going really fast, you have a lot of momentum and inertia. You just can't turn that quickly, right? You just can't just all of a sudden be heading east and be heading south instantly. You need to kind of take the turn. And if you're on the highway and you think about it, there's a reason why highways aren't super windy, because nobody can make the turn. If it was super, everybody would crash, right? You can't go fast and turn quickly at the same time. Changing our behaviors is the same way. We need to really make these small changes, and over time, our course will really work itself out. I just really appreciated how she's going about helping women who are done with dieting, right? The women who are like, this isn't working, and we know why. So let's just make it work for you, and let's do that one small step at a time.
And the passion shown through. I mean, as someone who's known Amy for quite a long time, I know when she's passionate about something, she gives it all, and she puts the energy behind it, which is why I'm confident to always bring people like that on the show to highlight, because I know that they're not just talking, they're living it, and the passion that they deliver behind it is very important. And I think that's something that we're big proponents of, right? That's part of the Be Rich mindset, is rising to mastery, inspiring greatness, celebrating knowledge, and helping others along the way. And that really shines through with the people that we want to surround ourselves with.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And you know it when you speak with somebody and you have a conversation, and when they understand, right? They understand the way we work and what makes us tick. They understand, they are masters at what they do. They're incredibly proficient and competent and capable. And that's why we love having people like that on our show. I mean, just this is the type of thing where, whether it's specific to what they focus on or a lesson that we can take from their journey, there's just a lot to be there to inspire and help, and that's our hope with all this, is that we give you one thing from every conversation that you can take away that either inspires you or helps you or pushes you further on your journey to mastering what you do. That's
the great place to do all that with like-minded people, is inside the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab Facebook group. It is our community that we promote these same ideas with these same kind of people, just like you. And hopefully you're part of that group as well. Obviously, in the show notes.
And if you want to interact more with people like Amy, with people like us, the lab is where we do it. Again, the lab is a vision. We believe we can change how business is done. We believe we can give everyone the tools, resources, wisdom, and insight that you need to be successful in business. And that's what we do in the lab every single day. Free content every month, free Q&As live. We answer your questions. We solve your pain points with you. And we hope that you take advantage of the platform as well to continue to provide the value to others, which is a big part of what we believe in.
Indeed. And
well, Doc,
yeah,
what you got?
I was just going to say, if they also want to interact with us in other places, they know they could always do it at JBandTheDoctor on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think we got them
everywhere.
Anywhere you type in at JBandTheDoctor, you will find us.
You will find us. It's true.
And if you want to learn more about working with us individually or in a group setting, you can find out information at JBandTheDoctor.com.
Absolutely. All right, my friend. All right, rock stars. I'm JB. We'll sell you later.
I'm the doctor. Peace out, yo.